Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Let's get started. Okay, so today we're taking this stack of sources and we're doing a real deep dive into the timeline of her many faces. It's this fictional story, but honestly, it reads like one of those true crime deep dives you see everywhere.
It really does.
Our mission here is basically to piece together the life of Katie Cole, or Kit Kat, or Catherine, depends who you ask.
Exactly. And it's tricky because the narrative is deliberately all over the place. It's fractured.
Yeah, you get bits from her dad, John, her barrister, this journalist digging around, an old flame.
Yeah.
It's messy.
Super messy. So our goal isn't just to give you a plot summary. We want to connect those dots,
Yeah.
Start from her childhood, see how all these dramatic events lead her to being accused of, well, triple murder.
Right. How does this kid, who seems really bright and maybe a bit headstrong, end up in the dock? Let's start right at the beginning. Katie's early life. Her dad, John, talks about this.
He does. He describes her as really enthusiastic, curious, maybe a bit fearless. And her relationship with her older brother, Stephen, seems absolutely central.
Tell us about that. Howard the bear, the what's-it-pot's-it bird.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen was, 11 years older? But he was completely devoted to her. He wasn't just a big brother. He was like her protector, her anchor.
Creating this whole imaginative world for her.
Totally. These stories about Howard the Bear's pancake adventures, this mythical what's-it-pot's-it bird, it sounds like their own private language, their escape. He even camped in the garden with her when she was 6, pretending they were looking for smugglers.
Wow.
So it establishes this incredibly deep bond. And, looking ahead, it definitely foreshadows how lost she'd be without him.
Which tragically happens very soon. Katie's only 8 when Stephen's killed. First deployment, Helmand Province. Just devastating.
Instant, massive trauma. And the way the family handles it, rather doesn't handle it, is so important.
This sort of stiff upper lip, suffer silently thing.
Exactly. Very British, very stoic, and frankly toxic for someone like Katie. Her nature wasn't silent. She was expressive. She felt things deeply, including anger.
And she showed it in her own way, didn't she? Moving his photo.
Yeah, the sources say she was the only one brave enough to keep moving his photo, the one in uniform, around the house. It was like this quiet act of defiance against the silence. Her way of saying, no, we need to acknowledge this.
That simmering anger. It doesn't go away. It builds, right?
Especially into her teens.
Oh, absolutely. Big conflict between her need to express that anger and the family's push for silence. And this leads us to the first really critical event that shapes her view of the world.
Peter Walters.
Peter Walters, yeah. Katie's about 13, maybe 14. Bobby, her younger brother, is into gymnastics. Katie discovers his coach, Peter Walters, is taking pictures in the changing room shower.
Oh, God.
And Katie, being Katie, reports him straight away. But the family's reaction, it's awful.
Her mom just dismisses her, says she's making connections that aren't there, pretty much. Accuses her of imagining things. And her dad, John, he just feels powerless. Can't stand up for her, can't protect her.
So this is huge for her development, isn't it? This moment where the system, even her own family, fails to protect someone, fails to even believe her.
Monumental. You can basically draw a straight line from this incident to her later actions. She learns right here. Authority protects itself, victims are ignored. And that rage she feels, it now has nowhere safe to go. It starts looking for other outlets.
Okay, so if that trauma teaches her the world is corrupt, her curiosity is about to show her where to look for quote-unquote answers. Fast forward a bit, she's what, 16, 17?
Yeah, around then. And she finds a new kind of validation, but it's not exactly healthy. This is where her friend Gabriel, or Gabe, comes in briefly.
Right, he first sees her when she's fearlessly yelling at some reckless driver who nearly hits him.
That's the one. Shows that fiery, protective side is still there. But around the same time, maybe even a bit earlier, like 14 or 15, she finds the internet, or rather a very specific corner of it.
The rabbit hole.
The infamous rabbit hole conspiracy site. Classic gateway, Starts maybe with 9/11 theories, things like that. But Katie's not just a casual browser. Her curiosity, combined with that anger, she dives deep.
And it's not just abstract stuff, is it? It starts connecting to her world.
It really does. She becomes convinced that March House, this very real, very exclusive private club, the kind of place the elite hang out, is actually Olympus.
Olympus, like the seat of the gods.
Exactly. The secret HQ of this powerful, shadowy organization they call the Group. And a lot of this intel, this framework for her anger, comes from one specific anonymous poster, someone called Mr. E.
Mystery. Okay, so the rabbit hole gives her a target for all that rage that started way back.
It gives her a narrative. And that digital anger, well, it doesn't stay digital for long. There's another incident before March House.
The fire?
The Peter Walters fire, yeah, remember him? The gymnastics coach. He and his wife had moved away. Then, suddenly their new house burns down. John, her dad, finds her coming home late that night. Her hoodie smells strongly of smoke. Now, officially, the fire was ruled accidental, but John suspects Katie.
He confronts her.
Big time. Huge fight. And this is really the confirmation, isn't it? Her anger isn't just online anymore, she's acting on it. The vigilante streak is real.
And that fight is what sends her packing.
Yep. She flees London, goes up to Scotland, to stay with her Uncle Neil on his remote farm. Trying to escape the drama, maybe?
But trouble finds her there too, doesn't it? In the form of Conrad Milton. Okay, Wildcat.
Ah, yes, Conrad. Phase 2 of the obsession, you could say.
Yeah.
Katie's 18 now, just turned. Conrad is 32.
Quite the age gap.
Yeah. He shows up at the farm, supposedly on official business. Something about a potbellies inspection, a corporate contract thing Neil was involved in.
Okay.
They had this brief, intense fling. He's drawn to her, her intensity. But then, almost immediately after he leaves the farm,
He ghosts her.
completely, just disappears, which for Katie is devastating. Another betrayal, right? But this time it's personal, and it gets tangled up with her whole group conspiracy via his corporate connections. He becomes part of the system she hates.
Right, so he becomes a new focus for that anger.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, let's jump forward 4 years. Katie's now 22. And where did she get a job?
March House. Waitressing.
Waitressing at Olympus itself. I mean, come on. It's not exactly subtle, is it? This isn't about tips.
It's surveillance, access.
Definitely feels like she's staking the place out. She's living back in London, sharing a place awkwardly with her brother Bobby. This starts around August 2022. She's ready for something.
And that something happens very quickly. August 10th, 2022. Critical Event 3. The murders.
The triple murder. Lucian Reitman, Harris Lowe, Alexander Popov, 3 powerful men, bigwigs in property industry, all connected to March House.
Poisoned. In the Voltaire room, this super exclusive private dining space.
With hydrogen cyanide, delivered how?
Via brandy that Katie served.
Brandy that Katie served. And then she runs, bolts from the club early.
Gets arrested at Paddington Station trying to catch a train.
And tells the arresting officers, well, she basically seals her own fate, doesn't she? She says, they deserved it.
Oof. Motive, intent. Pretty much wraps it up for the prosecution right there.
You'd think so. Paints her as this radicalized fanatic, acting out her rabbit hole revenge fantasy. Her barrister, Tarun Rao, he takes the case, but even he thinks it's almost hopeless after that comment.
He sees her as tragic, maybe manipulated, but that quote, it's killer evidence.
It is. And then right before the trial kicks off, there's that really strange, unsettling piece of news.
Uncle Neil, her uncle in Scotland.
Dies by suicide. Shotgun. The day before her trial begins. At the time, it just feels like another layer of tragedy kind of hanging there unexplained.
Adds to the whole dark cloud over the case.
Totally. So the trial starts, and the prosecution lays out what seems like an airtight case. They connect the dots. The rabbit hole theories, March House's Olympus, Katie's clear motive.
And then they bring in Conrad Milton, Wildcat. His testimony must have been brutal.
Oh, immensely damaging. He talks about the age gap, paints her as obsessive, unstable.
And reveals she kept taking him to March House on dates.
Yeah. Trying to drag him into her conspiracy world, essentially. It makes her look completely unhinged. Plus, her own brother, Bobby, testifies she came home totally panicked that night.
Adding weight to her fleeing the scene.
Exactly. And the final nail in the coffin, or so they think, is the CCTV. They claim it shows her smiling as she walks away from the club after the poisoning.
A trophy smile, like she got what she wanted.
That's the narrative. Motive means opportunity, guilty behavior, damning, quote, incriminating smile. Open and shut, right. Katie, the crazy waitress, executed her plan.
But this is where it all starts to unravel, isn't it? The sources fight back.
Big time. Twist number 1 comes courtesy of Max Todd, the journalist. He just wasn't buying the neat story. He starts digging into the source of it all. Mr. E.
The anonymous poster on the rabbit hole?
Right. And Todd discovers Mr. E isn't some random basement dweller. Mr. E is Hunter Reitman.
Wait, Hunter Reitman, as in son of Lucian Reitman, one of the victims.
The very same.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing, right.
His own son was feeding the conspiracy that targeted the club. Why?
Revenge. But not Katie's kind of revenge. This was a long, calculated family revenge plot. Turns out, years earlier, Hunter's sister, Violet, had been sexually assaulted at the club by Ollie Lowe.
Harris Lowe's son, another victim's son.
Exactly. And Lucian Reitman, the powerful father, had covered the whole thing up to protect the club's reputation, protect his friends. Hunter never forgave him.
So Mr. E's posts, they weren't just random theories.
No, that's the kicker. They were based on real overheard conversations, real dodgy dealings, real corruption within the group. Hunter weaponized the truth, twisting it into this conspiracy narrative to eventually bring down his father and his cronies.
Wow. Okay, so the rabbit hole was kind of real, but created by an insider for personal revenge. That completely shreds the prosecution's motive for Katie, doesn't it?
It punches huge holes in it.
Yeah.
If Hunter was the one orchestrating the takedown of March House, maybe Katie was just a pawn, caught in the middle. It creates enormous reasonable doubt.
But that's not even the final twist, is it?
Not even close.
Yeah.
The real knockout blow comes from Katie's own family history, from her dad, John.
He finds something after the trial starts?
Yeah, he finds documents from his ex-wife, Katie's mom, and they link Uncle Neil, the uncle who died by suicide right before the trial, directly to the crime.
How?
Emails, hate mail, specifically sent from Neil to Conrad Milton, the Wildcat.
Okay, a bad blood there, we knew that.
But also a receipt for the bottle of brandy, the exact same expensive, rare brand of brandy used in the poisoning, purchased shortly before the murders.
Oh my God, Uncle Neil.
Uncle Neil. Suddenly, his suicide makes horrifying sense. The poison, the cyanide-laced brandy. It was never meant for Reitman, Lowe, and Papa.
I have meant for Conrad Milton.
Precisely. Neil was furious with Conrad. Why? Turns out Conrad had screwed him over on that Potbellies contract, costing Neil a fortune. It was bitter corporate revenge. And maybe, just maybe, also revenge for sleeping with his vulnerable niece.
So the three executives, they were just collateral damage. In the wrong place, drinking the wrong brandy.
Seems like it. Neil targeted Conrad, planning for him to be at the club that night, likely intending for Katie to serve him unknowingly. The whole motive shifts from Katie's conspiracy to Neil's corporate grudge.
And Katie was just the delivery system, caught in this insane crossfire of family secrets, corporate disputes, her uncle's despair, and her own confused mission against the group.
Exactly. Turin Rao, her barrister, gets this new evidence admitted. It blows the case apart. He argues successfully for a mistrial.
Based on the Neil Flack evidence, showing the poison was meant for Conrad.
Yep. The prosecution's case collapses. Eventually, the charges against Katie are dropped. She walks free.
So, when you step back and look at this whole timeline, what does it all mean for you, the listener? It starts as this murder mystery, but it's really about what? Trauma, anger.
I think it's a collision, isn't it? How deep family trauma, Stephen's death, the Peter Walters cover-up confessed her, and then how something like the internet, specifically the echo chambers like the rabbit hole, can amplify that anger and provide a dangerous focus.
Information warfare meeting personal grievance.
Perfectly put. Katie becomes this potential weapon, primed by her past, loaded by the internet. And then the actual killer, Uncle Neil, motivated by something as mundane as a contract dispute, basically pulls the trigger, using the chaos Katie was already stirring up.
It's incredibly complex. What about Katie at the end? Does she understand any of this?
Well, her final scenes are really telling, and maybe a bit ambiguous. She meets up with Gabe, her friend, and she tells him Mr. E isn't real.
So she's letting go of the obsession, moving past the rabbit hole.
It seems that way. A sign of growth? Maybe. But then she goes to Stephen's grave, and she thinks about running away from March House that night. She remembers the feeling, the thrill, and the terror.
Thrill, that's chilling.
It is. It strongly implies she wasn't just an innocent bystander either. Even if Neil planned the poisoning for Conrad, she served the brandy, she fled. Was she simply an unwitting accomplice swept up in events? Or did she seize an opportunity?
Which leaves us with that final nagging question.
A really provocative one, yeah. Katie herself admitted when she was running away that she was already regretting what I'd done. Now, given her history, the fire at Peter Walters' house, her anger, her proximity to the cyanide, the question isn't really if she was guilty of the specific charge laid against her. We know Neil was the primary mover for that crime.
So the question becomes,
Was she smiling on that CCTV footage like the prosecution claimed? And if she was it because she genuinely believed the group, her enemy, was finally getting some kind of justice, even if she didn't pull the trigger herself? Or was that smile something else? A sign that she knew more, that she participated more actively, believing she was part of a necessary, calculated revenge, regardless of who the ultimate target was meant to be.
leaves you wondering about the many faces right up to the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was she really thinking that night?
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word.